So today we're going to focus on organizing the cabinets and the drawers centered at the main working area of your kitchen. This is my command central. This is where everything happens and where my body spends most of its time. So we're going to look at those cabinets now. These are the cabinets that have most of the things that I do baking with, and we're going to take a look at the drawer system that I have made in here. So these drawers I actually had made at Home Depot. It was super easy. It was less than $100, probably a little bit more than other drawers because they're wider, but I just gave them my measurements and they built these awesome drawers for me, and I installed them myself. It took about 4 screws. But this helped so much. This just had 2 straight shelves in it, and every time I needed anything, especially this one because everything's so small, I had to take the whole drawer out, take the whole shelf out and find what I'm looking for. But this way, even though this isn't neat and tidy like this drawer is, everything has its place and it's held still because it's all stuck together. But these are all the things that I use to cook every single day. Nothing in here is stored long-term for whatever and whenever. If I don't use it, it doesn't stay in here. I've got my little blender thing. I have a Cuisinart. I have whatever that guy is. I guess that's just a normal blender. What are those? Hand mixers? Yeah, that's my hand mixer. So I've got my beaters right up here because I didn't want them to get lost. And these little things. And my measuring bowls. And that's it. And this bottom drawer, I love this because these guys are a little bit heavy and dragging them out from the very back of the shelf is just annoying. And this is just huge. So there's not a lot in this drawer, but the fact that I can pull it all out, I can grab what I need, and then I can shove it back in, it's great. So again, these are things that I use every day. I use my mixers or my bowls every day to do mixing. I use this bigger Cuisinart guy to do my shredding all the time. I have a popcorn maker. Does anybody even own one of those anymore? A little air popper thing. Makes great caramel corn. And then my rice cooker and my crock pot, both used at least once a week. So the Container Store carries these great drawer inserts made by Idesign. They're from their Linus collection, and I use them in just about everything that I do. These ones they're narrower one. They have some deeper ones. The deeper ones don't fit in this drawer. And I have this divided out. These are all the things that I use on a daily to weekly basis. Nothing belongs in this space that I'm not going to use on a daily to weekly basis. So I've got everything that I use to measure. I've got my, I don't even know what this is called. I cut shortening into flour with it, and that's what it does. Pastry? It's a pastry thing. Good job, Michelle. Pastry cutter. All right, and I've got this is my favorite cookie cutter. I have more cookie cutters in the upper closet, but this is the one that I use on the daily to weekly basis. I've got my salad tosser things, but what I love is that I have all of these inserts, and I can arrange them in whatever works with the space that I have and the size of my product. So this guy I use all the time, so he's gonna live right here, even though he's a little bit awkward shaped. The things that I have back here are a little more difficult to get to, so I don't use them quite as much, but still pretty often, and they get their own little spots so they don't slide around. I've got my lime juicer. I use that seriously every day. I love it. But it's also one of those awkward ones and kind of just needs its own space to hold still. That's pretty, oh, this is my, I love this rolling pin because it fits in my drawer. I just love, that's one of my favorite parts of this whole drawer is that it fits right there. That's that drawer. So this is my pots and pans cupboard. I would love to have the drawer design that I had before, but my fry pans are too big. I need all of that space from the edge to the edge. So what I do is I just stack them. They're stacked inside each other, and I try to angle the handles. Oh, that's not the way it goes in. This is my one section that if it's not in just right, it's not going in. The bottom, I actually like a little bit better. I can just grab all of these, I can pick which one that I want, and then at the back, I have this little guy that holds all my things. And then I have 2 stock pots. They just go right in front of each other. I actually don't have a lot of pots and pans and frying things because I don't need them. If I have them all, they will all get used and then I'll have to wash them all. And I would rather not have that messy of a kitchen. So I keep this is what I need to cook a Thanksgiving dinner, and that's all that I keep. This is my silverware drawer, and I really love the way it's located. It's right next to this door that goes right to my dining room table. So we can pick up the silverware, run it right over there, we're good to go. So these are once again the drawer inserts by Idesign, the Linus collection. They come in various sizes. These are the narrower ones, they're a little bit shorter. These are just the standard forks, knives, and spoons. We have a big family, so we have a lot of each item. The one thing I am going to say I really love about these is that some of these are at least 10 years old. Some of them are additions to the set that I've changed things around a little bit. When we moved, I had to set up the drawers different, but these have lasted and look really good and are still so useful, and I can just keep adding to the set because there's so many to choose from and it's been around for so long. I love them. I use them in everything. So I've got a little section here. These are for the thermoses that my kids use to bring soups to school. This is just a random thing. I like to peel oranges with it. I don't know where it belongs, but it fits there, so we're going to leave it there. Got two little knives. These little guys actually shouldn't be in this drawer because they belong to the only use once or twice a year category. But there's a little cute hole here that they fit right in, and we're going to call that good. Back here, I have more of those sectional things. And they fit perfectly the tools that you use that not all the time, so they're not in my main storage area, but I am going to use them frequently. So this is my last little one here. These are all my serving things, and they're all just the right size to fit in here. I know they're kind of diagonal, only bothers me a little bit, but they're all together. And ooh, back here, I'm going to be taking that to see it. I have just a little piece of board that I have in there so that things don't slide around. Just keeps everything nice and squished. Got one more thing in here. These are my tongs. It's kind of odd to put them in here, but I hate them everywhere else. They just open and get in the way and you can't, I don't know, but right here, they just have to hold still. So one of the things that I do, because I only have I have 3 functioning drawers and a half drawer in this kitchen, is that some people put these in drawers. I like to have them out on my counter. This one is what I consider kind of baking things. I use these to make doughs and batters. I've got my whisk in here, I don't even know what these are, scrapey tools is what we call them, and my wooden spoons. And that sits on this side of the counter closest to where I'm going to pop over here if I want to grab it and go with me. This guy lives on the other side of my counter, and these are all the things that I want to grab while I'm sauteing something, while I'm stirring a soup, while I'm at the stove. So these can all work on the stove and won't melt. Not all of these will not melt on the stove, but I know that all of these won't melt on the stove. And so just for me, it's just easy to grab. I know that I can use whatever's over here. But this is great because, you open those drawers and they're always getting stuck on the potato masher. For the love of Pete, these should never go in drawers. They block everything all the time. But that takes them out, it keeps the drawers opening smoothly, and it's a little hack. I don't like a ton of things on my countertops, but this I'll go with. This is fine for me. This is the cupboard that I use to hold all of my bakeware. It's easily located to the stove and to the oven. It has a great little surface area here that I can do some prep work if I need to. I can take things down and set them here. It just functions really well that way. I went and bought shelving to match the shelves that I already had and increase the shelf space. So nothing's really stacked on each other, so I can easily grab things. I've got, the only thing in here is one other bowl. So it's easy to grab what I need and put it back. It's not all of the 9x13 pans all together and you can't get one because the whole thing has to come out. It's a mess. I've got this is a great one for these guys because they're awkward everywhere else, but they have their own thin little shelf here. And I've got some pans I don't use these very often, so they're up on the higher shelves that I have to use a stool to reach. These guys up here are, again, the Thanksgiving that I only use every once in a while when I have bigger meals and, you know, you need some extra mashed potatoes. These little guys, they're just random. My kids love eating their muffins on Christmas Day in them, but they don't need to be totally in my workspace, so they're tucked up there a little bit. I've got my butter and salt and pepper right here that I use at the stove. That's the only thing that's food in here, but it makes sense because my kids can grab this when they're making their bread and butter and be standing right here. So this is my other really tall cabinet that's really kind of awkward to get to. It's above my microwave, which is above my stove, but it's still a great place. This is where I actually put my vases and my candle holders, the things that I don't use a lot. I actually find them a lot in people's cabinets above their fridges, which is so awkward to get to. You can't get to the back of the shelf, but let me show you why it works here. So because this is not quite as deep and far away, and I don't have that big fridge sticking out, I can actually reach the back of the bottom shelf. I can't reach the back of the top shelf, so I don't have too many things on the back there. I have them all lined up on the front here. These are the bases that I use. This is another great thing. This is actually a just an acrylic napkin holder, and this is where I put my long candles. They all just, we must have used them all. This is usually pretty full, but they keep them all neat and tidy right here. That one got a little red. And then these are a bunch of like little candle things. There's not a huge organization to this. Everything just kind of lives in here, and it works for me. And I can reach it. And if I can't reach it, I call my 6'2" husband, and he can reach anything in here. This is my dish cover. It's ideally located next to my sink and to my dishwasher. It makes putting away dishes really easy. The other thing about dish cupboards is that they're actually specifically made. They're more reinforced. They have a beam in the back that like holds the extra weight the dishes are going to be. So even though I really wanted to put some extra shelves in here, this actually I don't think could handle the shelves. The shelves need to be kind of built into it. Haven't done that yet, but dish cupboard. Up on top here is where I keep my china, my niceware, the stuff that only comes down every other Sunday maybe. I have some crystal glasses, and if you can see up here, we'll take a picture and put it in. There's an extra shelf that I made, or not made, but bought to give me just a little bit more space up there, but I didn't need a whole one. I love the size of it. Then I have my plates. I use these ones the most. These are the ones that my kids grab the most. They're also lightweight, so they're really easy for them to hold on to. So those are definitely on the lower shelf. So my glasses are on this side, and as you can see, a lot of glasses are missing because this whole space should be filled with glasses, but I think it's time we need to buy more glasses. We've broken them, but at least I know where they go. The shorter ones I have lower so that my kids can grab them. They can use a stool to get up here. And this is where my taller ones go that we clearly no longer own. So this is my corner cabinet of death. There's nothing happy about this cabinet. I think a lot of kitchens have this cabinet. It's the one that you can only access a little bit here. But all of this counter space behind me is cabinet space below. Prime real estate for storing stuff. Can't access any of it. So we'll show you some things that we've done. First of all, my strainer's here because it's right next to my sink. So it's easy to just grab. And I've got my other little mesh things. Have that right standing here. The other thing that I have in this cabinet is the basket that I have for my my long tools that I use for barbecuing. So I just take this out, and then I have a whole basket that just slides. And this has all those crazy things that get in everybody's way, but they need to have a place. The basket's long enough for them, and it just slides back in. Down below here, I have my cutting boards because they're easy to grab and then put up on the counter right next to my knives and do some chopping. And then I have 2 bowls here that I like to use frequently. And then everything else back here is stuff that I really don't use, not even as often as Thanksgiving, but I need it. So there's I have an egg, boiled egg, what are those called? Deviled egg holder, so it holds all the deviled eggs all neat and tidy. And we have a cupcake holder that slides back down in here. So I really have to crawl under there to get it. I don't want to get rid of it. I'd love it if I didn't need to use this storage space, but I do. I think this door is a little too small to do the lazy Susan thing that you can find in some, but we do what we do. I have a couple of quick things that I like about my sink. There's not a whole lot to organize here, but some things make doing the dishes really efficient. The one thing that I do enjoy is this little guy right here. It's made by SimpleHuman. It holds my little scrubbies. It holds this nasty little thing. Those are, what are those? Little steel things that scrub stuff. I don't like the way it feels on my fingers. They don't get lost here. This guy has a little nesting place to be in. Has these little scrubbies on the back, and it just pops in. So I can take it out when I really want to scrub everything, but it goes right back on. It keeps everything back at the edge. I don't like the ones in the corners because they get in the way while I'm trying to wash, because my hands are right here. But back here, it stays out of the way pretty well. The other thing I love about my kitchen, my sink at least, is this little guy right here I got on Amazon. We'll put the link below. Underneath my sink, there's a tube that goes down and it goes right into a Costco size thing of Dawn. So it's like the endless supply of dish soap right at my fingertips. I love it. And I like it better than this one right here. You have to change the little bottle and refill it, and it just makes a mess, and it doesn't last very long. So this guy, I love him. I'm going to replace this guy with that guy. And that's about it there. If you want to come closer, I can show you the deep, dark underbelly of my sink. This is a little embarrassing because there's trash down here. Come on in. So trash can, I would love this to be a drawer, but it's not. So we're just going to move that guy. I've got my Cascade. No, behind the Cascade, I have a couple of things that I use frequently enough that they need to stay downstairs. I've got my stone polish. I've got my stainless steel cleaner that keeps the handprints off of my stainless steel objects. And if you come back here, you can see, zoom right in there. You can see my container of Dawn with a little tube that goes up, stays out of the way, and it lasts forever. I love that. Then on the left side, I just have my recycle bin. One little spray thing. I don't like to store a lot down here. I really don't even like using this space because it feels gross to me. So gross things go in here. How do you guys do? What do you guys do underneath here? Put some comments down. I want to hear about it. So I hope this helped you organize your command central in your kitchen. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Everything that I used here, I have links to below. And if this helped, check out some of my other videos on organizing.